Hi everyone, welcome to the Piano Keys. I'm so glad that you're here. Many of you have asked me for a tutorial on Chopin's Fantaisie Impromptu. So I decided, because it is such an advanced piece, that I could do a practice time with it, and those of you who are almost there technically can benefit from that. If you're just starting out your piano practice, this piece is a little bit beyond what you can do right now. It's difficult to play badly, much less well. So you can watch it if you might want to get some tips from it. I talk a lot about technique and about how to fit this really interesting rhythm pattern together, but you do definitely need to be able to play in order to play this piece. It will help you to have the sheet music in front of you so you know what I'm talking about. I do a very, very short part of the piece. I practice it for half an hour and I tell you why I'm doing what I'm doing. So if you want to watch me practice Chopin's Fantaisie Impromptu, the first few measures, then keep watching. I'm going to do the left hand first. There is a lot of repetition here. So the first two measures is just you're holding octave G sharps. I'm not going to practice that. Now, what I will say is this piece is written in cut time. If you're not sure what that means, it's 2-2 time signature, which means that there are 2 counts in each measure and a half note gets 1 count. If that's confusing, don't worry about it, because what I'm actually going to do is count it as though it's in 4-4, because it's going to be easier to put the hands together and show you what I'm doing. So we got that G sharp out of the way. Now I'm gonna go that far. As far as pedaling, so the addition that I have, the pedaling tells me to hold this G sharp and then change the pedal here and hold it that entire time. I don't know that I like that. My inclination is that I don't like that, but we'll see. All right. So as you can see, if you have the sheet music, and I strongly urge you to get the sheet music, because otherwise what I'm doing will be really confusing for you. You can see that there are 2 groups of notes in each measure, and there's like a bracket with a 6 between the first 6 notes, and then another bracket with a 6 between the next 6 notes. Okay, so this is telling you that there are 6 eighth notes in each count. Remember that each count here is in a half note. I don't want to get too technical here, but what I'm going to do is split it up in my thinking as 2 sets of triplets. So instead of counting 1, 2, I'm going to count like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and okay. So I'm going to practice that with a metronome. That's too fast. That's 100. Still too fast. It's 85. Let's go to 60-ish. This is 50. 62. That's good enough. So I'm going to skip that first octave because it's too easy. I'm going to play 3 notes for each click. Listen. Okay, so I'm laying off the pedal. I'm going to go a little bit faster. That's 62. Let's go to 70. I'm coming from the G sharp. I'm not going to hold it as long as it needs to be. And then. Pretty easy there. Notice that I'm using that G sharp kind of like a place to pivot from. It's like my home base. So I'm not doing this. So do you see what I just did? Let me turn off this metronome. So here's what I would not recommend. Watch. See what I did with my 3rd finger? Or sometimes, let's see, do I use 4th finger? I don't even know what finger I tend to use, but whatever finger it is, I'm going to keep it on that G sharp, not pushing down on the key, but kind of in that area, because I don't want to have to re-find it and flop around the keyboard any more than necessary. Remember, this goes really fast. I mean, ideally, it goes really fast. You can play it slow if you want to. So I'm staying there. So not stuck to the note, but definitely not here. Don't do this. Do you see that? Don't do that. So kind of hover about that G sharp. Okay? That way you can just kind of rotate back and forth. Sometimes people think that you can only play in a certain position. No. You can pivot like this. My students, when we first start doing the pivoting, they get a little freaked out. My students who come to me physically, and they're like, "Well, I can do that." Yeah, you can do that. It's fine, especially if you have smaller hands like I do. You have to do all kinds of things to accommodate the keyboard size. All right, that was 70. Let's go. This metronome I'm using is really hard to adjust. Let's go to 74. I'm gonna not pedal. So I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm doing a little accent, like 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4, and I'm doing that so that I can feel where the beats are. Am I going to play it like that when I'm performing? No. Most certainly not. But right now, I'm getting where the beats are for myself. Okay, I'm going to go a little tiny bit faster. Really hard to adjust this metronome. Let's go 82. Oh, yeah. So how do you get from here to here? Okay. Another time to pause. Okay. You can go like this and jump. That's fine. If that works for you, fine. Or you can do something else. You can kind of like... Do you see what I did? I let go of the bottom. No, I'm doing a super duper slow motion right now. Letting go of that bottom key, and I'm kind of folding my hand over. So my thumb is going under like that. Don't be afraid to do a little fold over. You might have to play slowly to figure out how that feels in your body. Here we go. Okay, so far I've only done basically 4 measures. And that's a good, for me, at this level of difficulty of this piece, I think it's pretty good. Now I'm going to take a look at the right hand without the metronome, just to figure out if this fingering works for me. So my fingering in my book says 4-5. I don't like that. I like 3-5. Yeah, I think for me personally 3 works better there for me. So okay, you see that X in front of the F? Those of you who write to me and say, there's no such thing, why are you calling it a double sharp? Or because because that's what the composer called it. That is an F double sharp. So when I say F double sharp and you yell at me in all caps saying that's a G, you're not wrong. But you kind of are, because in this key, and I'm not going to go into theory right now, but I will just say that this is correct, and Chopin knew what he was doing. So G is also F double sharp. Make friends with that. It's not that hard. Okay, I'm doing the same thing twice. Now, if I look at the right hand, I've got 16th notes. I'm not going to compare it to what's happening rhythmically in the left hand right now, but if I'm counting in 4, I know that I have 4 16th notes in each beat, so it would count like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, and then repeat it. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. For now, I'm going to accent where I'm saying the numbers. 1, there's nothing there, so I'm not accenting anything. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now I'm going to practice with the metronome. And I'm at 64 for a quarter note. Let me start a little slower than that. Let's do 53. I know that accent sounds really annoying, and no way would I perform it that way, but I'm really getting into my body where those beats are. I'm going to do it one more time. Okay, let's go to 61. That feels good. And how about, whoa, 71. Feels good. 80. Sometimes people tell me, wow, I have to practice a lot just to get good. Not even great. Join the club. We all have to practice a lot. Everyone. That was 89. I'm using a metronome app on my Surface, and it just kind of lets me click in a general area. And so I'm just kind of clicking higher or lower. 94. Let's go faster. Let's do 105. This is fun. Let's do 113. Okay, I know that I didn't practice the left hand as fast, but that's okay. Now, here comes the part that freaks out everyone, and it really shouldn't. So you have 4 notes in the right hand for every 3 notes in the left hand. So when you have this kind of rhythm where like one hand is playing a different feel of rhythm than the left hand, or vice versa, it's called hemiola. And don't worry if you don't want to know what it's called, but if you wanted to look it up, it's hemiola. All right, so I'm going to ignore the first couple of measures where the left hand's playing by itself. Now look at the measure where both hands are playing. On the very first beat, it's just left hand by itself, right? And then if you look at 3 notes later where the left hand's playing the E, that's where the right hand plays that F double sharp. Okay, so those have to line up together. And then the next place where they play together is the right hand on the D sharp, left hand on the E. And then the last place in this measure where they play at the same time, left hand is on the E, right hand's on the B sharp. Okay, so how are we going to line that up? Well, at first when you try this, it's going to sound terrible. That's okay. This is where a lot of people get stopped. They don't want to feel uncomfortable or awkward, and then they think that's a signal that piano is not for them, or they're too old, or whatever it is that goes through their mind. That not at all. Anything you do that's this complicated, playing the piano, especially this piece, it's gonna feel awkward probably for a really long time. If it's worth it to you, then you're gonna deal with that feeling and just kind of set it aside and be willing to sound bad and feel uncomfortable for a while until you practice properly. By the way, I think I'm going to have a class on how to practice. I'm going to have limited enrollment. I'll let you know about it so that I can really coach each one of you. I feel like that's needed right now. Anyway, so practicing properly will definitely get you where you want to go eventually. So left hand starts, and then the right hand plays, then left, right, then left, right, and then here. So it's really hard to do it slowly. But if you think of it as 4 beats, 2, 3, 4. If you keep feeling the right hand in 16th notes, 2, 3, 4, and you feel the left hand as triplets, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll play it without talking so you can kind of hear it. There is a definite like rhythm that happens when you play them together. What's that? Listen to it. All right. Now, if you practice that with a metronome, let's see how slow I can go on this thing. Come on. 45. Let's see what that sounds like. That might be a little too fast. Let's go 40. Okay, so here's how the left hand fits with that beat. These are quarter notes that the metronome is ticking. 1 and 2, 3, 4. I'm going too fast. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you can feel that while you're playing the right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you see that there are places where they line up like we saw before. Now I have to feel all that with both hands. I didn't feel it. Let's try it again. I feel like my right hand's a little too fast, so I'm going to do that again. One more time. Yeah. So it's still feeling a little bit off. I feel like the right hand wants to rush, so I'm gonna really pay. Okay, Elvis. I'm gonna really pay attention to that right hand this time. That felt better. So that was 40. Let's do 49. Nope, right hand's not getting it. Okay. Do that again. I can feel that the last couple of notes want to line up improperly, so I'm gonna do it again. Like what I'm talking about is this. These guys want to come in together, but they can't. They're not supposed to. The right hand has to come slightly after the left hand. Like that. You see that? It's like the right hand's a little late to the party, and that's how it should be. So, let's do that again. That felt better. Okay, 58. Sometimes I have to really stop and like tell myself what should be happening so that my body understands it. Okay, I just wanted to check that right hand. That was really sloppy. I'm gonna go again. Let me check the left hand. It's too slow. Gonna do it again. Yeah. Notice I'm not using pedal because the pedal is gonna blur everything and make me think that I have it when I don't. So you don't want to cover things that you should be looking at, which is like, hey, this is where I need to work. So let me hone in and not fool myself into thinking I got it when I don't. All right, 64. So let me check my tempo with each hand by itself. Sloppy, it's okay. I feel like it's my left hand that's bad. Yeah, it is. It's getting there. It's not going to be perfect right out of the gate. It might never be perfect. I don't know, but I'm going to aim for perfect. Nope. Yeah, I feel like that problem I talked about earlier is wanting to happen. It's wanting to go, and that's wrong. So the right hand has to get with the program. Come on, right hand. That's really sloppy. I think that's okay. It's not where I want it to be, but we're getting to the end of this video, so I want to get a little faster for you. So as we get faster, that part where the right hand's late to the party is going to get closer and closer to the left hand note just because there's less space, there's less time, right? So it's okay. I don't like that. I felt like it was really uneven. So I feel like it's easier for me to play if I'm not thinking about fitting, but rather I'm kind of splitting my mind into two. One part of my brain is handling the triplets, which are slightly slower in the left hand, and the other part of my brain is thinking in 4/16 notes, which are going to be slightly faster than the left hand. I feel like that's helping me more than trying to, like, you know, manually fit the hands together. Because when you go fast and, like, let me turn this off. When you go like, you're not going to have time to think like, am I fitting correctly? You have to feel, you know, what each hand is doing independently. So that's what I'm going to start teaching myself. Let's do 78. Yeah, that helped a lot for me to think of it that way. So just the right hand, the rhythm, and left hand rhythm. Don't worry about combining them, but just let each thing do it. It's like patting your head and rubbing your stomach, okay? I'm gonna go a little faster. Ooh, 90, okay. Let's see. Okay. That wasn't very good. Now I'm going to help myself by accenting those beats that I was accenting before when I practiced hands separately. Ooh. Yeah, it doesn't sound pretty, but I'm just practicing to get that rhythm. Woo. Notice also when I notice I'm off track, I don't keep going because this is not a performance. So I want to stop, save myself some time, and as well as not teach my body things that I don't want it to remember. So I stop right away. Pretty good. Let's see if we can go. Woo, 102. All right. Okay, now I'm going to do it at 102, but I'm going to use pedal, and I'm not going to do that weird accent thing. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, I really don't like that pedaling that's marked. I don't know. Maybe it's in a typo or something. I feel like I can go faster. Let's do 116. That feels pretty good. And look, we only did a few measures, but shut up. But because we worked so long, or I worked, you watched, hopefully you're working at home. I worked really carefully on the lining up of the rhythm, the hemiola, because it's going to be an issue for pretty much the whole piece, except for the B section. But so I spent a lot of time on that rather than just going ahead and learning notes and being kind of iffy about how they're lining up. All right, so I worked smart rather than trying to handle a whole lot at once. I honed in on what is the
the hard part of this piece. Yeah, you're running all over the place and you're playing scales and things like that. It's not easy. Chopin really didn't write anything easy. But the hardest part, or the most challenging part, is that the fitting of the right hand rhythm with the left hand rhythm. So that's what I like microscoped in on and figured out, at least for today. Tomorrow when I come back to practice it, it's gonna need more work. That's how it is. So I worked on that rather than trying to learn a lot of notes.
I hope that you enjoyed that and that you took away a tip or two that can help you with your own practice. I plan to keep going with this piece, so check back if you're ready to move on with it. Find me on social media, Facebook, The Piano Keys, Instagram, The Piano Keys TPK. My website is thepianokeys.com. If you like this video, click like, leave me a note, tell me how you're doing, subscribe to the channel, share the videos that you found helpful so that I can keep growing my channel and continue to bring you more videos like this one. Keep practicing, have fun, and I will see you soon. Bye!